What's going on, y'all? It's Frank. Hopefully everybody having a good morning. So there's something that I want to make very clear, crystal clear. I have love, I have sympathy, I have hope for each and every single addict that I deal with in Kensington. Each and every single one. Because I was them for so many years of my life. I thought I was hopeless. I thought I wasn't worth anything. I thought that I was the choices that I made each and every single day. My self-esteem was down because of what I was doing to my family and my loved ones and what I was doing to my community. I was on the verge of suicide each and every single day. It's a lot of stuff that people don't know about addiction that those as addicts do and we struggle with. And initially, when I first started doing the work I did in Kensington, the addicts were all the way at the top of my list of the people that I wanted to help. Slowly but surely that started evolving, right? And I started realizing when I'd get those emails and say, yo, that's my son, I haven't seen her for 5 years. Yo, that's my mom, that's my dad, that's my brother, that's my sister. I started to realize, damn, for each addict out here, there's 5 or 10 people that truly care about them and love them. And those people are the innocent people who feel the true wrath of addiction. They're sitting at home, they're at work, they're going to school while their loved one who's dealing with addiction is out there ripping and running the streets. That person who's in school or at home or at work or at church praying for them doesn't have the choice to check into rehab, doesn't have the choice to just say, you know what, enough is enough. So they're praying for their loved one. They're hoping, they're loving, they're going down there to Kensington, they're telling them, look, come back. They're sending them those calls and those texts. They're sending them pictures of their kids and saying, look what you have, look what you have. Just come home. Let's do this. We'll help you. We'll be there. I said, damn, there's all these loved ones, friends and family that are the innocent people and feeling the true wrath of addiction. So I said, okay, that's another aspect of addiction that I need to focus on. And now both of those things started to become my priority. Let me reach the addicts, but let me also show the family members that their loved one is still alive. Show the family members what your son, what your daughter is dealing with. What are the triggers that get them high? And I do that by the interview. When somebody shares a trauma that they've experienced, that plenty of times the family has no idea about because there's so much shame and guilt, and the addict doesn't want to share that with their family because of fear of judgment. I get those emails from the innocent family members telling me, Frank, I never knew that. I never knew that happened to my mom. I never knew that happened to my son. Damn, now it makes sense. Now I see why they act like this in certain situations. And damn, I thought they got over that. I didn't know that was still an issue. I didn't know those were those triggers. I didn't even know what a trigger was. Because interviewing my loved one, I understand what triggers are, and I understand what triggers are for them. And then slowly but surely, there was one instance where I seen an addict was getting beat up by a man. So instantly when I seen it, I went over there, I intervened. I said, yo, what's going on? He said he was shooting up on my step and he left his needle there. And my niece, who was 3 years old, got stuck with the needle. I instantly took a step back and thought of my own kids. Stepped away and I said, well, I don't have nothing to do with this. I'm not intervening. I'm not stopping anything. Imagine my child. I have my daughter, Mercy, is 3 years old right now. Imagine that she could not come out on her step because there's needles there, because there's feces there, because there's urine there, because there's empty bags of fentanyl there, because there's empty bags of crack there. Imagine that. It sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? But for so many people in Kensington, that is their reality. Those are the families that make up that community. Those are also the innocent victims of addiction. There's kids there that look out their window and see the park, see the slide and see the swings, see the merry-go-round, and they ask their mom and dad and say, Mom and Dad, I want to go to the park right there. They can see it right out their window when they wake up. You know what Mom and Dad has to tell them? No, we can't go there. Why they can't go there? Because there's needles, because there's shit on top of the slide, because there's empty bags, because there's vomit. Now, for a lot of people who feel as though my videos are exposing the addicts, you might be right. If that's what it takes to allow those kids to go to school and not have to walk through all that chaos, if that's what it takes so those little kids can go outside and play on that sliding board and enjoy themselves, if that's what it takes for families who pay their rent, pay their taxes to come outside and enjoy their front stoop, if that's what it takes, then so be it. The thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is when it comes to accountability, everybody's fair game. Everybody. If this was my family, if this was one of my loved ones, if this was one of my homies, I'd do the same exact thing to them. They would know, yo, you fucking up. Without accountability, we as a society are failing. So anybody who feels like, oh, your videos, you shouldn't show people's faces, you're exploiting, you're shaming them, you're putting them out there. You know, first of all, shaming, that I ain't doing none of that. People that know me and know my heart know that I'm doing this out of love. I'm trying to bring awareness. Without awareness, this shit don't change. Believe me, it doesn't. So if somebody feels like, damn, you shouldn't be doing that, you're exposing them, yeah, so be it. Once again, if me exposing them means those kids could walk to school without having to step over bodies and needles and vomit and all that other shit, so be it. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity when I got clean to get out of Philly. If I didn't, my kids would be walking over that chaos each and every single day just to go to school. People that don't live in Kensington, they might live in other parts of the city. Y'all don't have to deal with that. Good. Now imagine if y'all did. Imagine if that was your sidewalk. Imagine if that was your playground. Imagine if that was your stoop. Imagine if that was your daughter who was getting stuck with that needle that was on her step. You'd have a different tone. Then you wouldn't feel like, oh, you're exposing people. That wouldn't be the situation. I'm gonna end with this. I have love, I have hope, I have empathy, I have sympathy for each and every addict that I come across. You know who else I got love and empathy and sympathy for and hope for? Those children that have to walk to school. Those children that can't go to that playground. The adults who can't enjoy that playground with their children. Those people that have the businesses that can't thrive and have to shut down what's being allowed and encouraged and goes on in Kensington. Those are the people that I also have love for. And if I have to choose one or the other, if I have the addicts in this hand and I have the children in this hand, it's gonna be the children 100% of the time. No ifs, ands, or buts. I thank you for listening to me. And I just say, when you see these videos, personalize it. If you wouldn't allow it happening in your neighborhood, then why should you allow it to happen in other people's neighborhood? Because all the cops that police that area, they absolutely would not turn a blind eye if that was happening on their block. But they're turning a blind eye because they don't live there. Remember to be kind, loving, and patient. And a huge thank you to everybody who supports me and understands what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Stay blessed.